Hey everyone, it's Chrissy here. Welcome to Tuesday Night Lights for the 30th of January 2024. Oh goodness, can you believe that January is almost over? Hope everyone is having a fabulous day. Just gonna see if I can get my comments up. And hi Jody, thank you for watching. I'm hoping that I'll be able to see alright, just trying to find myself. Yeah, are you having a lovely day, Jody? Hopefully it's better weather where you are than what it is here. It's a little bit, we're really lucky, like we live on the right side of the river, because on the other side of the river it is a disaster. Oh, there we go. I think I've got people watching. All right. I saw your comment, Jody, that you want me to do a one sheet wonder. I have added that to the list, but I didn't see it until after I'd already prepped. So, no. I don't know if it's hot here, but it certainly is muggy, and we've had a bit of a heat wave and got a bit sunburnt on Saturday. So who else do we have watching? We've got Jody, we've got Glenda S. Hi Glenda, I saw your request to do some stuff with the brayer. It is on my list, but just not today. And excuse me for my cough. I think it's because the air conditioning, the old air conditioning is on all the time. Okay, so tonight I'm doing by request, and this request came from Kylie and a couple of other people, doing some embossing. Hi Glendale, hope you're well, hope you're not too wet up there. Oh, Glenda S, I didn't ask you. You're okay, you're not flooded or anything. I think the north side's got lots of water, but we seem to be okay. I don't hardly rain here today. Steve's worked from home because he thought it was going to be very, very rainy. And there was no rain at all. Oh, there's a little bit of flickering. Let's turn that one off. Oh, I don't know why we've got flickering tonight. I wonder what that is. I don't know how to fix that. Sorry if it's flickering. It's just wet. It's a bit cooler today. You've got more rain on the way. Yeah, it's... Oh, yeah, Saturday wasn't cool at all. And we went for a swim to cool off, and yeah... So Steve looks like a beacon now. He's so red. Anyway, so tonight we're talking about heat embossing, and I thought I'd show you how to use it another way other than just a card. So just seeing who else is on. We've got a few people watching. Well, only 32, yeah. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for popping by. Nice to see you. Been a while since I've seen you. Hope you're well. Okay. Hi, Jan. Looking forward to seeing Glenda and Jan tomorrow. Hi, Megan. All right. How about we get started? We're 7:07, so a bit later tonight. All right, so tonight we're going to be doing some heat embossing, and I'm only showing you one project. And this is with the Be My Valentine's bundle. So the ladies who are coming to my class tomorrow will get to play with this tomorrow. I was booked out, and I'm had a few people ring me and say, oh, I'm coming tomorrow. It's like, I'm sorry that you can't because I don't have any paper left. I can't do your kits for you. All right, so the Be Mine bundle, it coordinates with this, it's a stamp and a die set. So I love, punch and a die set. I love punches. They are so easy. It's just my favourite thing. So we're going to make these cute little, super cute little bags and little gift bags. Okay, so it uses quite a few things from the Be Mine suite. And so it's got a few different embossing things on it. So I wanted to show you all the different types of embossing, and well, not all, but a few, and give you some tips and hints because I've had quite a few requests for that. How are you, Megan and Jan? Hope you're well. So first up, let's talk about the paper bags. The paper bags are in the annual catalogue towards the back, and they're the in colour treat bags. So there are 5 colours. I've used 4 of them, one of them already. So there is Papercraft, Boho Blue, Copper Clay, Moody Mauve, and Wild Wheat. So the ladies who did my St. Nicholas Christmas class, they got to use the Wild Wheat ones. So yes, they're right near the back of the catalogue. So tonight, I've got a pack of these to give away. And so if you like and share my page, you go in the drawer or like and share this Facebook Live and write in the comments done. I will put you in the drawer to win the little treat bags. All right. So there are 25 in a pack, so 5 of each colour. I seem to have had like 10 packs or something. So we're using those. We're using some of the paper from the Be Mine bundle. All right. So what will we need first? I have prepped a little bit. I want to show you. There's a few different ways you can do these little bags. So I've got 3 different little bags that I've done. So this is the designer series paper. So all my paper share ladies, your paper share is here, ready and waiting for you. Then we've got some little hearts. Then we've got, well, this is actually a little bumblebee thingy, but you could make it look be stitching if you wanted, if that's what you like. I'm hoping you're not freezing. I'm not freezing because the Telstra 5G internet is directly in front of me. They are super cute bags. Thank you, Glenda. All right. So, and every time I do one, it's different. So let's get started because tonight's all about heat embossing. What I have done, because I didn't want to bore you to death with die cutting, because no, Megan, I didn't get my aircon fixed. We're just using the old ones. They're not the ducted, so the split system. So this room that I'm in at the moment has no air conditioning. It has a fan and it's on cyclonic. And so I have cut my Nested Essentials banner. So this is the Nested Essentials guide. So I dropped these on the way upstairs. So let me just put them back together. So this has banners of different sizes. So it's 4 different size banners. Oh, let's move them down a bit. It has these, I don't know what you would call these shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sectagon. I think that's what it is. I don't know what they call it. What's something that's, who's the teacher? Where's the teachers when we need you? What do you call an object with 6 sides? Oh, hi Marnie. I was just asking where our teachers were. An object with 6 sides, and then it's got these little ones as well. Okay, oh, and we're missing one. Hope you're well. So, yes. Yes, Megan, it is yikes. It hasn't been fun. So, like, we went to friends, we took Delphi to the beach, and that didn't go according to plan, so we went to friends and had a swim, and she just floated. They're not coffin shapes, Glenda L. They're not. But they could be. You'd have to change them a little. Anyway, so these are nested essentials, and they're in the annual catalogue. And I've obviously got the pack mixed up with something else. And Jodie calls them coffins too. Okay. All right. So we've got our die cut shape. Now what we need is in the annual catalogue. Oh, hi Kim. I hope you're feeling better. In the annual catalogue, there is a little embossing kit. Now mine is filthy. I can tell you that now. It's just really filthy. So it's called an embossing essentials kit. So it comes with a tray, comes with a brush, a pair of tweezers, reverse tweezers, and it comes with an embossing buddy. So these are some of the things that you're going to need when you get started. I also have a piece of coffee filter paper. Let's just now. What I always do before I start it, oh, you'll also need, a heat gun, heat tool. Now I use the Stampin' Up one because it's got 2 temperatures, and mine is really old and really well used. Okay. Then you'll also need some Versamark and some embossing powder. So what I do before I start with my embossing, I wipe my embossing tray with my embossing buddy. Now, mine needs a good clean. It's just... Now, the theory is you pour your embossing powder in here, you stamp something, pour the embossing powder in here, and then you can just undo this little bit at the end and pour the embossing powder back into your container. I wipe mine out with my embossing buddy. Now I use this all the time. I use it because on my fingers before I do embossing, because I don't want any of the oil from my hands to get. Now basically this is a little pillow filled with talcum powder. That's the best that I can. If you don't have an embossing buddy, try and get one. It comes in the kit, but use a dryer sheet or something, or use some talcum powder on your hands, just something to get the oil off your hands before you start. Okay, because what happens is the embossing powder sticks to your fingers. Right, so first up, I've got my little embossing buddy. I'm just going to tap, tap, tap gently all over, and all over. You can just swipe it. So you'll see it does go white. That's just the powder, and that'll dust off later. Okay, so what we want to do with this is we want to clear emboss. I'll bring up my little bee. These little hexagons, right? So this is such a cute little bee. And so to get the best result, we're going to grab, because this is a photopolymer stamp, we're going to grab our stamping pierce mat and put it underneath so it's got some rubber. If you don't have a stamping pierce mat, you or use a mouse pad, use the rubber, yeah, just use something that's springy. All right, there's the mat out of your Stamparatus, that would work too, or your whatever tool it is you use. Now you've got your stamp on the block. I'm sorry, I'm a bit headachy today. It's just heat. I get like this. So I've got some Versamark ink. Now the Versamark ink is a like Stampin' Up sell it, other places sell it. If you're a demonstrator, why would you buy it from anyone else? Because you're going to get commission. Like mine was pristine until this afternoon, and now it's a bit dirty. But it being dirty is not going to affect how it works. So I'm just going to sit my stamp on my ink pad for a second. I want it to really soak in, and I'm going to just stamp down the bottom. You know, you need to move quickly. If you are confident, you can do more than one stamp. Okay. If you're not confident, do one stamp, emboss. Now, we're using clear embossing powder. So I decant my embossing powder. I've got these little, what are those, Systema things that I got from Woolies. And so the embossing powder, it comes in, there's two different types, essentials and metallics. So we're using the essentials type today. And so I'm just going to use my little spoon that I got off the plane. Oh, my good friend Carol bought me these years ago. She bought me a big stash from the Qantas lounge, and they're just fabulous for this. And we just, now try not to have your fan on while you're embossing. I can't avoid it at the moment because, but I can tell you the embossing powder is so fine, and you will get it everywhere. And after you emboss, I recommend that you give your blocks and your stamps a really good clean under warm soapy water. So I've put the powder on. Next thing I need is a heat resistant mat. So I'm just using one of Steve's old placemats that someone did for him years and years ago. It wasn't me, I didn't paint that with a folk art placemat, but it's I'm just using that. I've got a few bits of stray embossing powder, so I'm just going to use my brush and very gently brush those off because I don't want embossing powder, whoops, and I did smudge it, but I can cover that up. So see how easily that changes colour. Now you've got to be careful. These this heat tool gets super hot, That probably took longer than it would normally take because my heat tool is cold at the moment. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a background on here. You'll see on our thing there's a very faint little swirly thing, swirly line. So that sort of denotes where the bee is flying. So that is just done with Versamark and left. It's not embossed, it's just done and left. I'll just move my heat mat out the way. That poor heat mat has seen better days, trust me. It's not allowed in our kitchen anymore. Alright, who did I miss? I think I missed somebody. So remember, if you like and share this video now, you go in the drawer to win the little bags that we are using. So now you'll see up here that end is a bit thicker because I've rolled it. When I stamped it, that's okay, we're covering that up. So that is the base of our tag. Okay. Next up, the next part of our little embossing journey, we'll stick to something easy. We'll stick with the easy bits first. We'll get all the easy stuff out of the way. So I've got some yellow. Now, just gonna make sure, again, get my little embossing buddy. Now, big tip when you're embossing, do not touch the embossing powder as soon as you've heated it, because it will be super, super hot and you will burn yourself. And if you do it in a class, I don't really want to have to do first aid. I'm not good with first aid. All right. So again, I've got my little, my stamp. So this is a bee body. I'm just going to give it a wipe because I was doing some embossing downstairs and I'm a bit concerned that it might have some powder on it. Okay, please excuse Delphi. She's barking at the possum running along the super highway that is our fence. Okay, now I'm not seeing anyone's comments, so make sure you ask me questions. Alright, because I've got people watching and I don't know who they are. Yes, oh, you would have loved seeing her on Saturday, Megan. She was floating in our friend's pool. She doesn't normally float, but she was floating in their pool. So, I've cleaned that off and I'm inking it up. It's actually better if I just put it down flat. Now, I'm not pushing it too far into the ink pad because I don't want any haloing or shadowing. I just want a little bit of ink. Now, I'm just stamping it on a scrap. Now, this time we're going to use the black embossing powder. Now, probably this is the most unutilized embossing powder in my stash. The reason for that is it's super, super fine. So again, I've decanted it into a little container. I've got my little brush. It's got other little bits in there, so I must have. And we just want a good coverage, and then we want to flick it with our finger. Now, you'll see there is a bit of bits where there isn't any powder. So it might be that when you stamped it, you didn't stamp it right, but just go with it for the moment. All right. So we're going to put this on the high setting on so our heat tool has 2 settings. So excuse me while I turn the heat tool on, and you'll see it's powdery and you'll watch it change colour. Now, you'll see it's nice and glossy. If you overheat it, it will go really flat, all right? So it's still glossy, it's still up. If those little bits before that didn't end up embossing, what you can do is you can get your ink your Versamark ink refill. Get an old paintbrush or an old water painter with no water in it. Put a drop on the back of a block and paint it on, right? And that way, and then put some more embossing powder on it and fill it in. But you have to be really, really careful and don't put too much on it. All right. So we're just using our punch. I'm going to punch that out. Okay. Now, I'm not going to emboss this little guy's face because I wanted it's really hard to see. Have I got it lined up right? Because I want the rest of his body to be raised, not his face. His, her, its. All right, so we've got the body. I might call it L. It could be her. It's a her. And I'm just going to grab my Memento ink. Now I've got this on the wrong size block. Okay. Yes, I have, Marnie. I have done it that way, where you put Versamark on the stamp and then but I'll show that'll be another week. We'll go through that. Now, the reason I don't want to use this block, it's too big. So, and it's not, yes, it is a Stampin' Up block. It came from one of the kits, but it's not ideal because you run the risk of getting too much shadowing. Hi, Cheryl. Hello. Hope you're well. Hope everything's nice in New Zealand. Oh, I bet it's much cooler there than it is here. Oh. I know you're having a heat wave on the South Island though. Okay, so this is a little winky-eyed one. And Marnie, I do have a similar technique to that on my YouTube channel. I've got a whole channel about heat embossing, or a whole playlist. Yes, I was worried that you might get rained out at school. Now, I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer to me so that I can see where I'm stamping. I'm hoping you're not seeing the top of my head. I'll stamp his little face, her little face, because this is L, the body. L, the body B, that's what we're calling her today. I have this habit of naming my little creatures. All right, so we've got the background where we've done a a clear emboss, just a Versamark on its own. We've done black Versamark. So let's do what's probably the hardest of the techniques of the embossing. Embossing on vellum. All right. Now, stamping on vellum and embossing on vellum is tricky. No, Marnie, we didn't get much rain here. Well, I was talking about that earlier. We live on the correct side of the river. So the north side of the river, they got lots of rain. And I say that very tongue-in-cheek because I've got lots of good friends who live on the north side. But yes, where we live, we didn't get much rain at all. Okay, so again, let's go out with our... Now, just because I've already stamped one, okay, and then, yes, Glenda, you can emboss a word that's been die cut. There are a whole lot of techniques. There's a cracked glass technique, which is one of my favourites. There's a reptile technique there that you can make things look like alligator skin. That's really fun. All right. So I've used my embossing buddy. So the reason when I finish here that I'm going to go and wash mine with warm soapy water, because when you put that embossing buddy on your paper, it leaves some, what do you call it? Residue. And so your ink, because the Versamark ink pad is sticky, it's going to pick up that residue and put it on your stamp. So we're going to emboss our wings with clear white embossing powder. And I've lost my little spoon. I'm not even going to worry about my little tray at the moment. I'm just going to... Now, you'll see this embossing powder isn't, as this is quite old. Now, embossing powder has got a shelf life. If it's not heating and going glossy, or it's taking forever to go glossy and it's just going grainy, chuck it out and get a new one. All right, you cannot fix it. All right, so I've flipped it. There's no excess powder on it. Now, when you are embossing with on vellum, you want to put it on the low setting, not on the high setting. It will take longer, but it means your vellum will not burn or buckle. So you hear the difference? That's high. And then low. So see how shiny that is? It's nice. And now, don't be tempted to go, oh, is that all done? Don't be tempted to do that. If you don't think it's done, just give it a minute and then heat it again. All right. The last thing we want to do, I don't know that they're here. I've got little antennae that we want to black emboss as well. And I forgot all about them, so I'm going to put them on my smaller block. I'm going to use my embossing buddy again at the other end. Or antennae, antenna, I don't know which they are, antennae or antenna. So I've got it on the back of my block that I had my other one on. So even though it looks dirty, it is clean. You want to make sure your stamps are super, super clean before you put them on your Versamark. Now I'm just holding it down really gently. They don't roll it or anything like that. There is a lot of work. I've done, this is my 9th one today. You want to see some cards using some scraps, Kim? All right. I'll add that onto my list. Now, for the people who are in my team, remember tomorrow is the last day of the month. So if you're in pending or if you're hoping to earn your quick start, tomorrow is the last, and you started in October, tomorrow is the last day that you can do that. So, for level 1 anyway. So, okay, so we've got our, again, we're going to put it on low. And I usually emboss from underneath, because then I can see what's happening. See, it's going shiny and it's all, and then I'll finish it off with a little bit. So emboss from underneath, that way you can see what's happening, okay? And that's nice and shiny. All right. So we've done all of our stamping and heat embossing. To emboss something that's die cut, do you stamp it with the ink pad? Okay, Carolyn. So if you've got an image that you've already stamped and you've coloured in, you can certainly put it upside down on your Versamark ink pad and cover it, and cover the whole thing and emboss it that way. Certainly you can do that. We can do that next week if you like, and it depends how you are. Or you can, if you've got a bigger piece, you can just put on your scratch paper image size up and use the Versamark upside down. If you have coloured and you've used your stamp positioning tool, like your Stamparatus or your Misty or whatever it is that you've used. Oh, sorry, I did one of these earlier. Then you can just emboss the lines if you have got a little template, and I can show you how to do that in a future episode. But like, everybody seems to like embossing, so I might do that, do another embossing essentials Facebook Live. So I've cut out my 2Bs. Now, wings, now they're a bit hard to see. Let's put them over here. Okay. Then, so I was really mean at my launch party, and I made all of the ladies fussy cut their little antennae. Little did I know that this little heart, let me just maneuver this a bit. This little heart here, let me tear off that corner, fits the little antennae perfectly. And when you emboss, when you stamp the embossing, when you stamp the antennae on Versamark, on vellum, the background disappears, basically. Yes. Right. Okay, so now we've got a lovely little bee tag. So we've stamped a honeycomb and clear emboss that. We've done our squiggly line, we've done the wings, we've done the bee body and antennae, and I'm just going to bring back in my stamping pierce mat. And this is what happens when you don't put paper on it and you're stamping. You get images that's from a long time ago and they don't come off. So if you're stamping, put paper on it to protect the surface. Okay. Reptile embossing, Megan. Yes, I did say that. Yes, it was certainly okay. Hi, Tiffany. I've got your paper share ready for you. Yeah. I'll drop it off tomorrow if that's all right. Yeah, it's reptile embossing. So it is. So you get a piece of kitchen paper, like paper towel, and you separate some of the layers, and I've put my Seal Plus all over the back of this, all right, because I want it to be sturdy. And then you colour it, the paper towel, with all sorts of different greens, and spray it with your stamping mist, and then put clear embossing powder over it, and it makes a skin, and then you heat it and it makes a really cool reptile skin. I have got a video that I can share with you, Megan. It's one of my favourite things. I did it years ago, and I always come back to it. So, now some of you may have seen that sadly one of our retreat attendees can't come to the Soiree by the Sea in May, so we do have one spot in a twin share room available. So if you are coming, or you wanted to come and you missed out, and you don't mind sharing a room with a new stamping friend, then contact either Shani or myself. Oh, I actually haven't checked my emails, so someone might have contacted me already. Okay, so I've stuck these on to the back, and then I've put my dimensionals. Now make sure you take the backs off your dimensionals. I hadn't, so press down in the center. That lifts up the side and makes them easier to come back off. If you don't have nails, use the point of your scissors. Okay, so this is such a cute little bee. All right. Now, I'm sorry, Jody, but I am not putting bling on this. This has got a lot of work on it already. So I'm not adding bling to it because I think the embossing is blingy enough. But what I will add to it is on the wings. I'm going to grab my wink of Stella. I'm just going to make the inside of the wings sparkle. I haven't done that with the other ones. I'll do that for these ones too. So, and it'll make them just sparkle in the light. Okay, so my friend Rhoda will be happy. Wink of Stella is enough bling. And you could put a little bit of Wink of Stella on the yellow of the body. Let's do that too. See how it looks. So that bee is not the best bee that I've done, but this one today is much better. All right, so let's talk about the little gift bag that we've got. So I got some little treats from the Lolly store. I think they were from Kmart maybe, I don't know. and I've got a piece of 12-inch oh, excuse me, so sorry about that. A piece of 12-inch designer series paper. You could use whichever side that you want. Yeah, we use this side this time. So I'm just going to move my little beads out the way. Move that board out the way. Move all the stamps. So make sure you clean your stamps really well after you've used embossing tape powder. Also because they won't stick to your stamp properly if they're covered in the dust from the embossing buddy. I hope that makes sense. Did that make sense? I think it did. So I love this paper. I think it is adorable. It's from the Be Mine suite and it was part of our paper share. So we've got our little bag. First thing I want to do is I'm going to do going to score it. You don't have to score it, but I am scoring it. And I'm scoring it, see, you might be able to see, it's got lighter and darker lines. So around about the 1 inch, or maybe 1 3/4 inch mark, there's a dark line. So I'm lining that up with my track and I'm just going to score it. So that just means when I fold it, and I will fold it back the other way, I should have had it over the other side. Should have scored it on the side with the seam, but it's late. It's been a long day. All right, so we're going to grab our bone folder and just push that down, make it nice and crisp. All right, then we need to wrap our paper around. So depending on how finicky you are, I don't care that I'm going to have a big overlap of my paper because, let's be honest, what am I going to use these little scraps for? But if you were frugal with your paper, you don't have to, you can cut it shorter. But this is just a 12-inch by 3-inch piece. And so I don't even stick it to the bag. So the first thing I do is work out where I'm going to put a score line. So I know from the other ones that I did, I need to score it at 5 7/8 is my first score line. Okay. Now, I want where it meets to be on the right hand side. The others I did earlier, some were on the left hand side. It doesn't make it any difference. So I'm just going to fold that. So we're scoring it on the opposite side to what the pattern is that's going to be facing out. All right. Then I'm just going to move it over just a smidge so it's at 4 15/16. I think that's what it is. So just a smidge. Smidge sounds better than 15/16, and we're going to score it again. Okay, and again we're going to just fold that over. Use our bone folder to make it nice and crisp. Let's move our paper trimmer out of the way. So if you don't have a paper trimmer, that you have a scoreboard, use your scoreboard. You don't have to score it, but it does sit better. So you'll see it's just going to sit like that. Now I don't attach it to my packet. You can, if you want to attach it to your packet, you can, but I don't. Just because I want to be able to move it up and down or wherever. Okay. So I'm going to grab my Seal Plus. And I turn it around to the side just so it's equal. it easier for me. And we're going to put our Stampin' Pierce mat under our thing that we're using as Seal Plus on, just to make it easier. So we're going to put a bit there, and we're going to put a bit here. I'm not using glue because who wants to get glue all over their fingers at this time of the day? And then I'm just going to line it up. So that's our little belly band, and it can slide up and down wherever you want. Then we can put our little treats in, fold it over. Now, you can put a little bit of Seal Plus here, or you could use a glue dot. And you can position this anywhere you want. You can even, if you want to, take it over the fold, the jagged edge. And how I line these little tags up is there's a seam. I don't know if you can see the seam here. Whoops, sorry, a bit close. There's a little seam where it meets. I just line it up so it covers. And it can be left or right, depending on which way your bee is going. Generally, if my bee is traveling right, I will put it on the left-hand side of the page, because in our thing we read left to right. So, and by having that fold on the right-hand side, it's less noticeable if it's on the left-hand side. So I'm just going to grab my Seal Plus, just put a strip across the top. And then pop it, and you've got lines, so you can line it up, so there's no excuse for it not being straight. There's me who can't get it straight. There you go. There you go. So that's this little one who's done. This one I'd half done. So I'm just going to grab my other bag, another one here. So I've made the belly band, I just haven't scored the bag. So I'm just gonna turn the bag over. Now you might want to make it much smaller, right? You might want to just make it about the same width and tuck that in so you use less, so you see less of the belly band. So I'm scoring it on the wrong side. Thinking I'll score it about there. Okay, and the reason I'm scoring it on the wrong side is I want it to go the opposite way to the valley. I'll fold it the opposite way to the valley. Right, and then I can tuck that. How about we put our little treats in there first before we close it up? So I can tuck that in here. Come on, cooperate. Now see this one, oops, I have it in the wrong way. I have it on the right side, so that's fine. So I've got less of the bag showing, and I didn't line that one up properly. So what I'm going to do is, before I close it up, I'm just going to get my paper trimmer, just trim a little teeny bit off, because we want it to look nice. So each of the ladies who's coming to my class tomorrow is getting one of these little bags. So I hope they like them. Okay, so it's such a cute little bag. So make sure your hearts are, if you're using the heart one, or something that's got a directional pattern, that it's the right way up. And this one I'm going to put my little thing. Now you could, if you had a little peg or something like that. The pegs from the advent calendar would work a treat. So I'm just popping this one in the middle. Now you don't need dimensionals, you don't need, it's a great way if you've got a lot of paper that isn't your favourite, but it looks good in little doses. So let me just move this grid lines out the way so you can see it on a dirty work surface without grid lines. So you can make them whatever size you want. If they're popping up, you just can put a bit of Seal Plus or a glue dot and stick it down. So you can put them wherever you want. So we've got lots of different ones. So I like this one. I like the pretty flowers. So this one's right. He's going the wrong direction. Well, he's flying that way. See, this one's in the wrong spot. This one annoys me because he should be on that side. All right. So, as I said earlier, if you have liked and shared this Facebook Live, I'm just trying to grow my audience. So I really appreciate any if you're sharing. It doesn't cost anything for people to share, and it makes a huge difference to us as paper crafters. Yeah, so there we go. So we've had a lesson in treat bags and in heat embossing tonight. So I really hope you like that. I've got on my list that people want to know how to do cards from scraps, more embossing techniques, maybe next week. I'll have to see if I've got a stamp set that works with the reptile embossing technique. And also on my list we've got brayers, one sheet wonders, and yeah, cards from scraps. All right, so anything else people want me to do in a Facebook Live, make sure you write it in the comments and I will do that next time. So it's a bit of a short and sweet, well, we did an hour tonight, so I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you like these. I hope the ladies tomorrow like them. So I'm looking forward to our class tomorrow, and that was sold out, so that was amazing. And it was sad that I had to turn people away, but I had no paper left. So Tim, I'm doing a blends club starting next month. I'll be sending out stuff in the newsletter. So that will be how to use blends, but I can do some basics. I'll write it down. Yes, Glenda, it is a busy morning coming up tomorrow. Okay. All right. Everyone have a great night. Stay safe. My north side friends like Megan and everyone over in the north of the river, stay dry and safe, and North Queensland people and Central Queensland people, hope you're not adversely affected by the floods. Until next time, happy creating. Bye for now.